So I'm going to talk about a few of the parenting types that exist. There are 4 major types, and there are 6 to 7 subtypes. So the first set would be the major types. You have authoritarian. It's my way or the highway. They might be considered a bit of a control freak. All right. As far as authoritative, that's number 2. Authoritative likes to explain things, make sure that you understand what your options are, and is really looking out for the best interests of you. That's what authoritarian is. Authoritative. Next, you have permissive. And the permissive is more interested in being a friend than a parent. So the permissive kind of lets anything go, and when confrontation actually creates itself, they kind of step back from it because that's not something that they're interested in dealing with. And then last but not least, you have neglectful or uninvolved. And someone who's neglectful or uninvolved just isn't there. So for example, if we were having a conversation, all of a sudden I'm going like this and you don't see me anymore, that's neglectful. And those types of parents, they aren't involved with children in that particular case. That parenting style, that's what that encompasses. Now, those are the 4 major subtypes. Within each of the 4 major subtypes, there are 6 to 7 subtypes. And those subtypes are tiger. Tiger usually goes with authoritarian. But in this particular case, a tiger parent is someone that will do anything and everything to make sure their child's successful, even if it comes to essentially beating their child down verbally or insult or whatever it is, because they feel that that's motivation in order to bring out the best and the most potential advocate. So that style can be very, very harsh. And we've seen, some instances of that, within society. And again, you have some folks that have come out and have done very well as a result of being in that environment. But at the same time, it comes with its trade-offs. And that's the biggest thing about parenting. Any parenting type has its trade-offs. There's good balance in some case, and then it's a little bit stronger in others. So tiger is actually very, very strong, and that would be tied with authoritarian. Next, you have snowplow. And snowplow is like the bully. If you know any bullies out there, they essentially will do whatever they have to do in order to get an outcome or a result that they're looking for. And if you're on their team and you have a bully on your team, that's exactly what that bully does. So that's snowplow in a nutshell. That would also be associated with authoritarian, but not always. Really sometimes depends on the situation. But you can tell a bully just based on their behavior and how they actually act. Next, you have attachment. So attachment, there's a deep emotional connection or bond. This would be, let's say, between a mother and a child. And that bond really kind of gives comfort to situations where there might be uncertainty or nervousness just for the fact that there's close proximity. So that's really what attachment essentially means. After that, you have helicopter. Helicopter is exactly what it sounds like. If you've ever seen that gnat at the barbecue and you're swatting it away because it just won't leave you alone because it keeps kind of going around, that's helicopter. Helicopter parenting styles are when people essentially won't leave you alone, or they always have to know everything that's going on. And so even when they leave the room, they still have like an ear to the door, or they're trying to listen and find out what's actually going on. So that can get a little bit of a nuisance, but that's them trying to absorb and gather as much information as possible and exert influence if and when they can. After that, you have elephant and dolphin. I'd like to actually combine these two. The whole idea, I guess, with an elephant is a little bit bigger, a dolphin is kind of a little bit smaller, but in either sense, there's this idea of encouragement where they're not holding your hand the entire time. They kind of give you enough room to kind of move and have your space, but at the same time, if you need support, they're not far away. So that style may actually be the most balanced of all the subtypes for the fact that it kind of gives a little bit of leniency, but make sure there's enough support. And then last but not least, on the far side is free range. If you've ever seen parents that let their kids just go off into the world and explore, and kids, assumingly are too young, again, from other people's perspectives, that's what free range is. They give a lot of space. There's no leash, there's no fences. It's like, go explore, we trust you, and if you're in trouble, you'll be able to figure it out for yourself. That's essentially what free range is. So you have all of those different types of parenting, and they actually have an impact on how you manage your kids. So if how you do anything is how you do everything, then how you manage kids as a parent's point of view is also how you manage other resources such as money.